before we start. Please let me know in the comments what is working, what's not, and which of my videos you like the most. And now we begin. We'd been on the road for 6 hours when the fuel light blinked on. Still an hour out from our Airbnb, GPS bouncing between searching. And no service. Jenna was asleep in the passenger seat, hoodie pulled over her face. Mason was in the back with his headphones on, mouthing lyrics to something I couldn't hear. The last sign we passed just said, Service Road, 2 miles. That's all it took. I turned off the main highway, tires crunching onto a narrower, winding 2-lane road. Forest on both sides. Dimming sky above. No signal. No lights. No mile markers. Then, like it had been waiting for us, a gas station appeared. Small. Old school. No digital signs. Just a single bulb buzzing over the pump, and a rust-colored sign above the awning that read Dale's in flaking paint. We pulled in. The pump worked. No credit card slot, just a switch and a mechanical dial that spun as the gas poured in. Jenna stirred when I shut the car off. Mason pulled off his headphones. Where are we? Refueling, I said. No one else was around. No cars. No street lights. But the store door was cracked open and the inside light glowed yellow. I stepped in. The floor creaked like it hadn't held weight in years. Shelves lined with dust-covered snacks. A freezer full of off-brand sodas. A small TV in the corner played static. But no one was there. No clerk. No bell on the door. No camera. Just a yellowed notebook on the counter where prices should have been. I flipped it open. The last entry was dated October 17, 1997. Scribbled underneath, $20 unleaded. Paid cash. I left a 20 on the counter. I don't know why. Felt like the kind of place where not paying might offend something older than security footage. That's when I saw the map. Folded neatly, placed dead center beside the register. Old paper. Red ink. Looked hand-drawn. I unfolded it on instinct. There was the gas station, marked as a red circle with the word here. Only the rest of the map didn't match anything on Google. The highways twisted differently. Roads curved toward dead ends that reappeared elsewhere. Forests were labeled with names I didn't recognize. Black Hollow, Miller's Fade, Twin Ridge. A bold black line cut across the paper with a small handwritten note. Don't take the upper fork. I shoved the map in my jacket and walked out, a weird chill curling up my spine. Mason raised an eyebrow. Did you pay? Yeah, I said. Nobody's in there, though. We pulled back onto the road. 15 minutes later, I checked GPS again. Still nothing. But the road looked familiar. Same bend. Same leaning pine tree. Same faded billboard for a defunct theme park. Then the gas station came into view again. Same pump. Same buzzing bulb. Same damn sign, Dale's. Jenna sat up straighter. Did we turn around? No. I slowed, heart pounding. The 20 I'd left was gone. But the map was back on the counter. Same position. Only now, the black line was bolder. Sharper. And the warning had changed. Don't take either fork. This time we didn't stop. We didn't even slow down. I gripped the wheel like I could squeeze the road straight. Jenna leaned forward between the seats, breathing hard. Mason whispered something under his breath that sounded like a prayer or a song. He wouldn't tell us which. The sky had gone from evening gray to full midnight in less than 5 miles. No moon. Just stars above us and the yellow hum of our headlights on the pavement. Jenna kept looking over her shoulder like she expected the gas station to chase us. It didn't have to. Because after what felt like 20 minutes of straight driving, we passed it again. Only this time it was early morning. The bulb above the pump was still glowing, but the sunlight was soft and gold, filtering through the trees like it was 7 a.m. in the middle of spring. Jenna said, "No. That's not possible. We didn't turn. We hadn't. I was sure of it. But we passed Dale's again. And again. And again. Sometimes it was raining. Once it was snowing. Just flurries, melting before they hit the windshield, but snow. And once the station was completely dark. No lights, no glow, like it had been abandoned decades ago. The only thing that didn't change was the map. Still waiting on the counter. Same red circle. Same fork in the road. Same warning. I finally snapped, pulled the car up to the pump and stormed inside. No clerk. No TV this time. Just the hum of an old cooler and the creak of the floor under my boot. I picked up the map. Unfolded it. It was no longer blank beyond the fork. Now, scribbled in dark ink across the other side of the map, was one word. Listen. The moment I read it, the back room door creaked open. We'd never looked back there before. I walked toward it slowly. The air smelled like wood smoke and metal. Inside the back room was a rotary phone. Ringing. No cord. No dial tone. But it rang and rang. I picked it up. And I heard my own voice. Panicked. Screaming. Wind howling around me. I was saying my name over and over, like I was trying to remind someone. Or maybe remind myself. The last thing I heard before the line cut off was, "Don't go past the fork." I dropped the phone like it burned. When I ran back to the car, Mason was staring at the trees. "They're getting closer," he whispered. "What are?" He pointed. And that's when I saw them too. Figures. Just barely visible between the trunk. Perfectly still. Watching. We drove. Didn't matter which direction anymore. But when we reached the fork, the one not on any GPS, we hesitated. Left or right? Jenna leaned out the window, breathing fast. Which way? I reached into my pocket, pulled out the map. It was blank. Not just the roads, everything. No red circle. No forest. Just empty parchment. And on the very bottom, freshly written in wet red ink. You already chose. And now for our second story. We didn't mean to take the scenic route. Caleb and I had just left the winery, tipsy on overpriced Cabernet, and the idea of getting lost for fun. GPS died about 10 miles up the ridge, so when we saw a narrow paved road cutting through the tree line with a hand-painted sign that said, "Sun Pass Tunnel, 1 mile, we figured it was the perfect detour. The sun had dipped low, glowing orange behind the pines. We laughed at the cliché of it all. Fog curling over the shoulder, deer bounding into the underbrush, our shadows stretching down the windshield. Then the tunnel came into view. Short, brick-lined, arched like something out of a fairy tale. No lights, just black. I flipped on the high beams and drove in. Halfway through, the radio fuzzed alive. We hadn't touched it. It was off the whole drive. Static filled the car for a second, then a clear, crackling voice cut through. Soft, female, whispering something over orchestral music. Caleb leaned forward. "Is that our wedding song?" It was. The same instrumental we walked down the aisle to, slowed to a crawl, warped at the edges like a vinyl left in the sun. The voice whispered again. This time we both heard it. "Welcome back." I slammed the brakes. The tunnel hadn't ended. I squinted ahead. There was no exit. No light. Just more stone. More road. We hadn't been in that long. But we'd already gone at least half a mile. I checked the clock. We'd entered 5 minutes ago. It felt like 15. Caleb started shaking his head. "I think we passed that crack already," he whispered, pointing to a jagged seam in the tunnel wall. "That exact one. And that streak of moss. I saw it 3 times." I started to reverse. The wheels spun. Then the headlights hit something ahead. Another car. Same make. Same model. Same dent on the bumper from backing into the mailbox. We coasted forward slowly, breath held, headlights catching the license plate. It was ours. Not a match. Ours. Exact plates. Same frame. Same sun-faded bumper sticker from a forgotten road trip. And inside? We saw ourselves. Asleep. Heads tilted against the windows. Caleb's sweatshirt bunched the same way. My curls pinned back the way I'd tied them an hour ago. Frozen. Breathing. Like they were waiting. "No," Caleb muttered. "We're not doing this." He jumped out of the car and opened the back door of the doppelganger vehicle. Empty. Seats pristine. No dust. Like it had rolled off a showroom floor. Then the tunnel lights flicked on. Only they weren't mounted to the ceiling. They hovered, sphere-shaped, bobbing like fishing lures, all the way down the corridor. And at the very end? A shape. Too tall. Wrong proportions. Watching. The radio sparked again. And this time, it was my voice. "Keep driving," I said. Whispered. Begged. So we did. We floored it. Past ourselves. Past the lights. Past the shape. Until the tunnel snapped open like a mouth, and daylight blinded us. We were out. But not where we went in. The mountains were gone. The road was straight, wide, and white-lined like a freshly paved highway. No trees. No hills. Just smooth, featureless land. And the gas tank read full. We didn't speak for a long time. Not after the tunnel. Not after passing ourselves asleep. Not after the shape. Just silence, thick and numbing like a blanket smothering the whole car. We were out, sure. But out didn't look right. The world on the other side of that tunnel wasn't ours. The sky was blue. Too blue. Like a backdrop painted in one flat, endless stroke. The road stretched ahead. Perfect blacktop with no cracks, no oil stains, no wear from tires. There were no signs, no intersections, and when I looked behind us, the tunnel was gone. Just a clean horizon in both directions. "Where the hell are we?" Caleb whispered, almost afraid to say it too loud. I touched the GPS again. No signal. No map. Not even a spinning wheel, just a gray square like the device gave up trying. I rolled down the window. Still air. No bugs. No birds. No wind. Even the heat felt artificial, dry and ambient, like a room lit by LEDs. We kept driving because we didn't know what else to do. The line in the center of the road never curved. Never dipped. Never split. After 30 minutes, Caleb noticed the gas needle hadn't moved. "Wasn't it at half when we hit the tunnel?" he asked. I nodded. But now it was full. Just like the tank had reset. And it wasn't the only thing. Our phones were both at 100%. Even though we hadn't plugged them in. I glanced at the odometer. 0. No trip logged. Like the car had just been turned on. Caleb touched his pocket and pulled out a receipt from the winery. It had changed. The name of the place was the same, but the time stamp now said August 14th, 2:06 p.m. That was 3 days from now. Up ahead, we finally saw a sign. A huge green highway board with white lettering. But there were no words. Just blank space, pristine and glowing faintly in the sunlight. As we passed it, Caleb said, "Look behind us." In the mirror, the sign now had words. I looked. So did he. And neither of us said a thing. We just stared. Because the sign now said, "Don't let the car stop." Then the radio came on. But instead of music or voices, it was just our breathing. Not live. Recorded. Like someone or something had been listening. And that's when we saw the headlights. A car. Behind us. Same shape. Same make. Same dented bumper. Same red air freshener hanging from the mirror. No driver. Just glowing headlights and an empty seat. And in the passenger side mirror? Someone was waving. At us. And they were wearing my sweatshirt. And now for our last story. We hadn't seen another car for over an hour. Just one long, straight stretch of highway that felt more like a treadmill than a road. Same sky. Same trees. Same white mile markers spaced too evenly. The kids had stopped asking, "Are we there yet?" Probably because even they could feel it. Something was wrong. When the rest stop appeared, we pulled over like it was a mirage. Spotless bathrooms. Clean pavement. Everything lined with fresh mulch and trimmed hedges. But none of us remembered seeing a sign for it. No exit number. No logo. No billboard. It was just there. Maya, our oldest, got out first and stretched. "Finally," she groaned. "This place looks new." She wasn't wrong. The whole facility looked like it had been built yesterday. No graffiti. No oil stains. No faded paint. Just one long structure with restrooms, shaded picnic tables, and 3 vending machines humming quietly in the shade. I went inside to check the bathrooms while my wife took the kids to get snacks. The urinals were dry. The mirrors spotless. Motion sensor lights blinked on perfectly. But there were no paper towels. No soap. No trash. Not a single piece of waste in any of the bins. Outside, my son Ben stood staring into the vending machine. Dad? These don't look right. I stepped closer. Snickers, Doritos, M&Ms, all familiar brands. But every expiration date was from 1988. Even the design on the chip bags was outdated, like something you'd see in a retro diner. Maya held up a can of Sprite. This is weird. Look at the tab. It's not even a twist top. It's a pull ring. We didn't let them eat any of it. That's when I saw the graffiti. Inside the women's bathroom. Written on the far stall door in black permanent marker. Don't stop again. You've already been here. I stepped back and saw my name scrawled in sharp, jagged letters below it. First name. Last name. Spelled right. Ben called me from outside. Dad. Come look. On the wall next to the vending machines was a corkboard filled with flyers, ads, and one child's drawing. Sun-faded, wrinkled, but pinned up carefully. It was a crayon sketch of a car. Our car. Same color. Same roof rack. Same bumper sticker. Drawn from behind with all 4 doors open. And in the distance? A gas station. And something just barely visible in the trees. It wasn't a child's happy drawing. It looked like a warning. Maya backed away from it. We didn't stop here before, right? I didn't answer. Because I was watching the trash can beside the board. Where a crumpled receipt sat on top. I picked it up. Gas purchase. From Dale's. Same date. Same amount. Same time. We hadn't used cash there. Not yet. And when I turned back to the car, all the windows were fogged from the inside. We got in the car and locked the doors. Didn't talk. Didn't breathe too loud. Just sat in the quiet for a few heartbeats, staring out the windshield like something might step in front of us if we moved too fast. I turned the key. The engine started instantly, like it had never been off. The gas tank was full again. The clock read 12 o'clock. No AM. No PM. Just frozen time. My wife gripped the passenger door, scanning the lot. The rest stop behind us looked smaller now. Farther away. Faded, almost like an old photograph curling at the edges. Ben whispered, "There's someone on the road." I looked. He was right. Far down the highway, a single person stood in the middle of the left lane. Facing us. Till. We rolled forward slowly. Another figure stepped into view from the right shoulder. Then another. And another. All barefoot. All in casual clothes. T-shirts, jeans, pajama pants, but each one wore the same thing around their neck. A plastic rest stop pass, the kind you'd get at a tourist information booth, but blank. No logo. No barcode. Just white rectangles swinging in sync. Maya shrank in her seat. Why are they walking? They weren't at first. Then, one by one, they began to move. Down the highway. Against the flow. Toward us. Some walked with limps. Some staggered like they hadn't slept in days. None of them looked up. I hit the gas. We rolled past the first one. No reaction. Then the second. Then 3 at once. That's when I saw his face. One of them looked exactly like me. Not similar. Me. Same stubble. Same crow's feet. Same bandage on the right thumb from slicing it last week. He didn't make eye contact. But the moment we passed him, the radio turned on again. Static. Then a voice. Keep going. Don't stop. Not again. Ben turned around to look behind us. There's more, he said. I looked in the mirror. Dozens now. All walking. And in the back, waving slowly, was someone else I recognized. It was my wife, standing between 2 other figures, holding Ben's backpack, smiling like it was the end of a family photo. I slammed the gas harder. But the speedometer didn't change. We weren't accelerating. Just coasting. Like the road was pulling us forward now. Maya started to cry. That's when we passed another sign, blank at first, then filling with words as we drew near. The letters bled across the green metal like oil through paper. You can drive. But you can't leave. I stared ahead. No exit ramps. No intersections. No cities on the horizon. Just road. And more people joining it. Walking the white lines. Waving. Wearing our clothes. Carrying our things. And I swear to God, one of them winked at me,